What specific signs in a restaurant make you think the food might not be good? Feedback from hosts, cooks, people involved in the restaurant business, or people merely interested in it? I want some stories too, if possible. If you went into a restaurant expecting something after getting an ominous warning sign, and then problem uncovered to confirm the suspicious omen. The smell of old cooking oil. If they're cheaping out on the fryer oil, everything else is shit too. The bathrooms. If they aren't clean, then the rest of the restaurant isn't either. My old boss used to go to the bathroom to wash his hands so many times, he would come back to the table and tell me, "Get up, we're leaving." If a place looks sketch, I'll be like, "You stand here and look at the menu to see if you want to eat here. I'm going to use the restroom." When I get back, I'll pretend to look at the menu and then be like, "No, let's try to find something else." A menu with way too many items. Don't lack focus. There is no such thing as a restaurant that has good sushi, good burgers, and good boudin balls. Too much focus on decor or Instagrammability. A menu that is too clever, trendy, or gimmicky. A sign that says Olive Garden on it. Floors are dirty. Tables are left with dirty dishes after customers have left. It doesn't smell really good. Filthy bathroom. If you can see into the kitchen and they are really messy. Wanted to take back roads on a cross-country trip in 2014. We ended up on a nice state road through Kansas. Stopped for breakfast at this tiny restaurant that was rooster-themed. A cloudy morning, sat down at one of the booths, and the seat felt like they were going to fail completely. They were so worn, and deep. The waitress was the only one there and took our order. She must have been 85, 90 years old. Turns out she was the only person there and went to the kitchen to fix our meals. While we were waiting, we started looking closer as the sun was just peeking through the clouds, and all the rooster decorations were covered in spider webs and thick dust. I glanced in the window to the kitchen, and the old gal cooking had a cigarette hanging out of her mouth, head down, still at the grill. The food came and wasn't terrible, but the place was a full-on dive/greasy spoon joint. I'll never forget to assess the restaurant more closely before eating. If I go into an ethnic restaurant and majority of the customers are not of that ethnicity, this best Indian food I've ever had was a place where I was one of 3 white people. The place was packed with Indian customers. Also, my favorite Mexican restaurant in town almost always has large groups of Hispanic people eating there. I figure, if it ain't as good as how Mama used to make it, then it's not good enough for them to spend their money there. Growing up, my father said, if you see a restaurant during a mealtime and there's no or few cars in the parking lot, something is definitely wrong. Underwhelming hostess and staff turns me right around. Chewing gum, negative or entitled attitude, gossiping in clear voices, addicted to their phones. No way I can expect adequate service. Bar setup where bottles of liquor or wine are stored in direct sunlight. If a place is doing this, they're clueless, and their bar program is going to be extremely mediocre at the very most. Dumb names on the menu. Instead of a cheeseburger, it's a rootin' tootin' Texas burger, moo moo milkshake, etc. If the manager doesn't do anything, if I can't physically see the manager sometimes, that's a red flag. That means they just don't care, which means the other employees probably don't anymore either. I'll even call them out on it. My dad always did a great job selecting restaurants when we were out on the road for a family trip. His secret was, avoid the places that don't have windows to see the interior. Not that it makes me think the food itself won't be good, but when I enter a restaurant and I only see men serving and bartending, I immediately think that management must be bad. To me, as someone with several years restaurant experience, this says that the culture must have been unwelcoming to women, or sexual harassment was allowed to the point where women were unwilling to work there. The appetizers come out too quickly. Like, I expect my local sports bar to bring me the frozen appetizer almost immediately after I order it. But if I'm at a nicer-seeming restaurant, the quicker the apps come out, the more likely a lot more of their food is going to be subpar. I judge restaurants by their soup. If you take the time to make a quality, rich soup, you pass my test. Sorry, not sorry, but when there's no uniform standard, employees dressed so casually you would think they were an out-of-touch guest. I have never gotten good service from a waiter wearing a random t-shirt and PJ pants or athletic shorts. Dirty condiment bottles are a huge thing for me, especially when going to a place I haven't tried before. It tells me either the management is trash or their clientele is trash, and I'm not welcome there. Excessive signage about menu restrictions. If they can't accommodate a small change, they are struggling. If they're struggling, there are reasons behind it. Gordon Ramsay is in the back with a cameraman, and you can hear him yelling, "What the F is this?" My husband and I went to a sushi place one night. When walked in, there were multiple empty tables with dirty dishes and uneaten food still on them. We got seated at the sushi bar. My husband went to use the restroom to wash his hands before we ate. There was no toilet paper and no paper towels. He asked a server and they went in to restock the bathroom. When the server came out of the bathroom, they went right back to serving food without having washed their hands. When my husband came back from the bathroom, I stood up and said, "Let's go, we'll talk outside." When we got outside, I explained what I saw, and he agreed we should go somewhere else. Sushi, unclean hands, no thank you. I ate at a McDonald's once, and after I had received my food and sat down to eat, the manager of the location held a meeting in the dining area in which he chastised the staff for failing the health inspection again while I was eating. I got up, threw my food away, and left. Never returned to that location ever again. So that's a sign if the manager tells everyone while they're eating. In the UK, most restaurants or takeaway have a label on their door or windows that rate their hygiene standards. If anything scores below 4, I will not eat there. As a former bartender with 10 years of experience, if you think your drinks tastes off, it's probably mold or mildew. I've worked at so many bars, and only 2 places knew how to break down the soda gun for cleaning. If the staff seem disorganized, like my favorite saying, if you don't have the time to do it correct now, when will you have the time to fix it later? If they're running around and not collected, you better believe that if they drop your fork, they're not going back to get you a clean one. If the expediter is stressed because Table 7's order was undercooked and now needs to be made on the fly and didn't ask the chef if your dish is dairy-free, the waitstaff sure as hell won't. Busy without composure is begging for error. Places that ace their health inspections proudly post their excellent compliance documents. If you don't see one, it's probably because there isn't one. Also, if the place just looks dirty, so many people will just dismiss whatever they see and risk it. Just leave. Screw them in their dirty restaurant. You're better than getting food poisoning. Just leave. If all else fails, look up your local health inspector reports. They'll tell you everything they found, and a lot of times it's really upsetting, surprising even. I've worked in a lot of kitchens, and the worst one, those snack bars in bowling alleys and arcades and skating rinks. The food tastes like crap, too. Also, I heard food trucks don't follow anything. Stay away from those, and you'll live. The outside of the restaurant. My mom owned a very successful restaurant for over 40 years. She always said, If they can't take the time or effort to make the outside look nice, extra trash, dirty windows, poor or no landscaping, just general disarray, chances are they make the same effort when it comes to keeping the inside clean. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe and leave a like.